Well, something interesting happened in the early 1980s. You see, as diamonds were being traded, of course, people had to figure out what is the right price for diamonds. And when I say people, I refer to tradespeople. So diamonds came from various manufacturing cities around the world. Well, diamonds arrive, let's say, for example, in New York City, and the companies who purchase them from overseas manufacturers need to sell them. So they utilize brokers. The brokers have diamonds and they take them from company to company and they try to trade the diamonds for money, of course. Well, what's to say what a diamond is worth? Two people sit at a table, a broker says this diamond is going to cost you $1,000 and it's such and such color and clarity, and the person at the other end says, well, I don't agree that it's such and such a color and clarity, so I want to pay less for that. And you start to have that back and forth natural transaction of negotiation. It came to a point where really you had to rely on the person sitting across the table from you as far as their integrity and their honesty. And that's how close-knit relationships were formed, and certain people would only work with certain brokers and vice versa. Well, a system needed to be created in order to facilitate the trade of diamonds on the wholesale level. A company by the name of the Gemological Institute of America, around the turn of the century, began to develop methods of identifying diamonds and grading them according to a scale. And the very famous 4 C's diamond grading scale was created. Well, what happened was a diamond would be submitted to the GIA for grading, and the GIA, through a panel of sometimes up to 15 diamond graders, depending on the intricacies of that particular diamond, would assign a letter grade for the color, a clarity grade. They would officially weigh the diamond, and they would produce a diamond grading report. Now, since the GIA is not involved in buying or selling diamonds, they managed to secure their independence, and people began to trust the GIA's opinion. And they don't accept any advertising in their printed media, and really they survive by donations and by grants. And what happened was their reports became the industry staple for diamond grading. So now expensive diamonds, for example, obtained a GIA grading report, and these brokers now were able to take the diamond to a prospective dealer or wholesale purchaser and show the report and say, well, here's a report from the GIA. The diamond has, let's say, an F color and it is an SI1 clarity according to the GIA. This is how much I want. Well, okay, so there was no argument on the color and the clarity and the other specifications of the diamond. But who's to say how much someone is supposed to pay for that? Well, now I introduced you the revolution of the 1980s diamond market in New York. There was a young man by the name of Martin Rappaport who came to the United States. He used to work in Belgium for a company that manufactured diamonds. He arrived in New York and he started interviewing, if you will, or actually researching commonly accepted prices paid between brokers and dealers or others in the diamond trade. And he started to record them, and he created a graph and a trend analysis of what was paid for specific color and clarity combinations across carat weights, starting from a 1/100th of a carat and all the way up to 5 carats for rounds, specifically round-shaped diamonds. And one day he printed this report and he distributed it. At that point, he didn't realize, but he revolutionized the diamond industry. Now people had a price list, which never existed prior to him, a price list for diamonds. And he was actually the target of many threats, death threats if you will, where people claimed that he destroyed their business. But in essence, he revolutionized the industry and facilitated the trade of diamonds. Those who didn't agree to his prices or whatever he printed would transact in percentages below the list. So if a diamond had a list price of $5,000 per carat, people would transact at, let's say, 20% below the list or 20 off the list, and on the wholesale level. When it got to the retailers, retailers paid close to the list, and of course retailers would sell it to consumers at percentages above the list. Prior to the internet, most consumers didn't have access to this price list, but now that you can find out anything on the internet, more and more consumers are arming themselves with this knowledge and obtaining the actual price baseline of what a diamond should cost. Now, of course, there are nuances. The list shouldn't be used as a holy grail because every diamond is different. Just like every thumbprint is different, every diamond is different, and a diamond weighing 1 carat might be more expensive than another diamond weighing 1 carat, just simply because one is more proportionate and the other is a little off in its proportions. So of course one looks better than the other as a result, so one would cost a little bit more than the other. And of course you can't ever really rely on comparing just color to color and clarity to clarity. Diamonds have other attributes that affect the end price.